On April 15th, 2024, the Indiana Fever selected Caitlin Clark with the first overall pick in the WNBA draft. And this was so far removed from just your normal number one overall pick. This was somebody who at the collegiate level had drawn so many eyes on her, so much attention. She was getting people involved with a level of intrigue and interest that we have not seen in women's basketball at bare minimum in a long, long time. This was a generational kind of talent, somebody who was so marketable, somebody that could change the shape of the entire league. And the Indiana Fever got her. And ever since then, she's lived up to that billing. She's been great in the WNBA. Not long after that, early in 2025, Notre Dame made it all the way to the College Football National Championship. Then a few months later, the Indiana Pacers went on one of the greatest runs in NBA history, going all the way to the NBA Finals when nobody thought they ever had a chance to do so, making so many memories with that action, where they would ultimately take the OKC Thunder all the way to their limit, all the way to Game 7. A game they might have won if Tyrese Halliburton did not get hurt. And now, Indiana looks like the best team in college football. Last night, they just dominated Alabama on both offense and defense. It was an incredible game. And they have not lost a game this entire season. There has been a sports boom going on over in Indiana, and it is all by design. Allow me to introduce to you the 2050 vision by the Indiana Sports Corporation. This was a concept that was conceived in order to develop the next chapter of sports strategy that has served the Indianapolis community over the past 45 years. They wanted to develop a quarter century long statewide sports vision in order to evolve and grow their ecosystem as competition rises throughout the country. This is an official statement from the Indiana Sports Corporation. They surveyed Indiana residents, and from their feedback came this vision and its guiding principles. What they wanted to do was to make Indiana the global epicenter of sports and to unleash Indiana's potential through the world of sports. And I believe when you look at everything that they've been doing recently in the past couple years, it has been made possible through an active effort like this. The 5 pillars that they are focusing on are sports events, sports tech, sports academia, sports business leadership, and also women's sports. Let's talk about all of these and how they're kind of translating to what we're seeing from Indiana right now. In terms of sports events, that's becoming a little bit more of a hot commodity over there right now. You have Caitlin Clark, of course, as I spoke about earlier, making the Indiana Fever a must-watch team, and if you're in Indiana, a must-visit team. As for sports tech, we have really seen a global, especially here in the United States, evolution of sports medicine and sports technology that has allowed athletes to play longer and play at a higher level than we've ever seen before. And so if Indiana wants to be a front runner in that, then that is a very competitive market, but one that if they do succeed, could bear some great fruitful endeavors for them. In terms of sports academia, their listed goal was to offer the top ranked sports education programs in the world. And when people are learning more and more about sports, they become attached to it. They become a part of that culture. All of a sudden, you've got kids growing up who have studied up on the game. They know about the game, and what do they want to do with that? They want to play. So that long term, I think, is only going to create a more prosperous future for Indiana. And you look at their college football program, I think you're already kind of seeing the results of them shooting for this goal. Because at the end of the day, that's all kids getting their college education. And they're playing one heck of a season of football right now. And with this endeavor, with this ambition, they are becoming more educated at their sport, at how to continue this level of play than ever before. In terms of sports business leadership, I think that's something very important to pursue in the college football world when it comes to stuff like NIL, because that has simply been an absolute game changer. Whether you love it or whether you hate it, I think there's definitely a middle ground to be had in which these guys, especially massive stars, deserve to be compensated for what they're doing, but at the same time, it should not take away from the integrity of the game. no matter where you stand on that, it has been a game changer. And with that, you have to not just be complacent. You can't act like it's not there. So, in pursuing a growth in sports business leadership, that opens up doors for NIL opportunities because you are trying to host the largest cluster of sports organizations and governing bodies in the world. And in doing so, you're going to have to invest in the game. And that's going to help you in terms of college football, in terms of NIL, getting these deals and growing in the world of sports business. And in terms of women's sports, they are reportedly focused on creating the leading women's sports ecosystem and becoming women leaders in sports. And right now, they're doing a great job. I mean, you just think about the WNBA. This is a league that for so long now has kind of been forgotten, put on the back burner. It has been funded by the NBA and consistently has not drawn the interest of a lot of fans. And that's been a massive talking point, a point of controversy, even to which we have had so many discussions about the integrity of the WNBA, what it means. But overall, the league has not drawn a ton of fan interest until recently with Caitlin Clark. And the Indiana Fever look poised to capitalize on that. They hosted the WNBA All Star 2025 over at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And if you want to become a leader in women's sports, to have somebody like Caitlin Clark leading the charge, to have the Indiana Fever leading the charge in your own state, that is a great turning point to be able to do that. And so I think Indiana is in great position to succeed in all 5 of these endeavors. And as I just talked about, you're already kind of seeing the ramifications of it. They have had so much success in recent years. But let's talk about the Hoosiers. They're coming off a great win last night against Alabama. And going to this game, they were undefeated. They had not lost a game this entire season. But I still feel like there was a little bit of doubt that fans were having about this squad, simply because of the history and the prestige that the Crimson Tide bring to the table. But before the game, their coach, who has done such an amazing job this year, I think he really has the potential to turn this program around into one that is dominant not just this year, but for years to come. But a couple of days before this game, a reporter asked him the question about just that, about the daunting task of facing Alabama with their history, with the prestige that they bring, the fact that you can never count them out simply because they are the Crimson Tide. And what he said was that Alabama knows a lot more, the journalists know a lot more about the history than this current Indiana squad does, because all that they see, all that the players see, is what they're watching on film. In that kind of mindset, that mentality of simply preparing no matter who your opponent is, studying up film, getting ready to beat a team like Alabama in spite of who they are, simply because you believe that you are the better football program and that you can better execute. That has been Indiana's calling card, and that is a great mindset to have from Kurt Signetti. And as a whole, I think it kind of sums up the Indiana world of sports as it currently stands. Look at a team like the Indiana Pacers. Nobody thought they would make the finals. Nobody gave them a chance in their wildest dreams. To imagine that they could go on such a run like they did seemed almost unfeasible. And yet they did it. And for Indiana football this year, they did not have the most talented roster in the world. They had a coach coming over from James Madison. But that coach is building up a track record of success. And Indiana looks like they may well be on their way to becoming national champions. Now, talking about their coach, though, before he joined Indiana, he was 52-9 over his tenure at James Madison University. That is incredible, and you're seeing that history translate. And I think now, with the mindset that they have, they could go on to be a great team for years, because it's not just about the talent of this team. It's about the fight, it's about the effort, it's about the drive, and the determination that they bring to every given matchup, that they can beat the other squad no matter who they are, because they prepared, they studied up on their opponent, and they know what they need to do. Their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, he looks like a great NFL prospect. He became the first Hoosier to win the Heisman Trophy with 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions through the air this year. He has been incredible, but even without him, even if he goes on to the NFL and has a prosperous career there, I think Indiana sports is going to be in a great spot for many, many years to come. especially their college football program, led by an incredible coach right now with a great mindset that translates to all the players. But you can see it with the Pacers as well. They've had a very down year without Halliburton. But when he gets back, I believe that they will be a threat. With the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark leading the charge, with Notre Dame being one of the best programs, if not the best program, in the history of college football, Indiana is not going anywhere. And I believe that their world of sports is only going to get better. And it is all by design through an active effort from the 2050 vision. They want to become the sports epicenter of the world. In the way that they are succeeding right now, I don't think anybody can deny them.